Yes, guys, welcome back to the Wolf Supplements podcast. We're joined with Matt, as always, and today we are joined with the Mean and Clean crew, Marcus and Jody.
Hello.
I'll do.
Got a very interesting story, quite an inspirational one as well, and I feel like a lot of people will resonate with it, or at least they'll know someone who might need help in the addiction space, stuff like that. So I suppose for you two, it'd probably be a good story to go back in time and explain your story, how you got where you are now, all your life events leading up to now. And yeah,
I don't think you've got
Crack on.
time. I don't
Crack
think you've got time.
Beer it morning with you.
I don't know. Fuck yeah. I'm 29, but I've had one hell of a story. I don't know. Do you want to go first?
so obviously I know.
Me go first.
Well, obviously I know Jody. I knew Jody before you, and from the outskirts of things, you always just look like someone who was super on it with training, had your life in check. Like all this alcohol stuff, I'd never guessed it.
Yeah, and what we say all the time, it's the people that you don't expect. It's the ones that you always look at and think, you know, you've got great expectations of them, and then you find out somewhere down the line that, you know, they've got problems or they've got issues, and you know, or there's a big backstory to them that you don't know about. All you see is a success. It's like an iceberg, innit?
Yeah.
You only see so much, but what goes on underneath you don't see. I mean, I've always been driven to achieve things, and I think that stems when I go far back to maybe, I think it all started, 4-year-old, lost my dad in a car crash he had previous with heroin. And he got rehabilitated. And then a year after he got rehabilitated, he relapsed on recreational drugs.
Yep.
This is a story I got told anyway. And there were 4 of them in a car. And they went to see sunrise at a beach down near Southampton. And he fell asleep at wheel, crashed car, and he died that night. So I was 4-year-old, he was 21. So I've outlived my dad already. So for me, it was a case of growing up wanting to know about my dad. And I kind of felt like up to now, my life's mirrored his a lot with everything that I found out, you know, as opposed to everything that's happened to me. But then on my mum's side, I mean, there were an history of sort of like sexual abuse in the family on my mum's side, and looking back now, it's weird how it kind of worked its way to me to be the pinnacle, sort of the last one it's happened to, everything. And I kind of feel like I'm the one now with the responsibility to break like a generational curse. Yeah. So obviously, I had the problem with drugs. I'll go into that in a bit. But I suffered sexual abuse when I was a kid, and I got bullied for that. But it happened to about 5 or 6 of us, all lads, you know, same age. And I was the only one that people knew about, and I could have easily, you know, sort of dropped other names in to take the weight and the pressure, the heat off me, but I didn't, and I did it to protect everybody else. So because I knew what it was like, do you know what I mean? Like to have that heat on you, and it wasn't nice, you know. I was suicidal at a young age that I shouldn't have been. Yeah, shouldn't have been thinking about killing myself that young. But I'm a big believer in that something happens in your life, you know. Most of the time when you're young, and it's like a pinnacle moment, and you don't realise it, and you don't know when you make this decision, but something happens and you either use it as pain or power. You know, you either use it as fuel or you let it weigh you down. Yeah. And you can either wallow in self-pity about it and play a victim for the rest of your life, or you can use it as, you know, as motivation to say, you know, fuck that, it's not going to happen. That ain't going to happen to my kids, or I'm going to create a better life for myself. So that was kind of my turning point. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, all that trauma at a young age, it was like, I'm kind of not surprised I became an addict. You know what I mean? Because I tried to deal with that by achieving things. You know, I did a lot of things when I was a kid. A lot of projects with police, you know, met Prime Minister, got Lord Mayor's awards, you know, my face was plastered everywhere. And, you know, anybody that knew me at that age would have said, oh, he's got a bright future ahead of him. But then I kind of started idolising wrong people, which led me into a bit of a gangland. And I thought it was cool at first. Do you know what I mean? Like you do. You look and you think, oh, they're gangsters, they're G's. And, you know, when you actually get into it, you know, they refer to it as you've got a life of freedom. And you don't. You know what I mean? Because I've never lived in a world that you have to abide by so many rules. Didn't see my kids on a weekend, didn't see my partner. You know, that led to drug use, heavy drug use, cocaine, meth, crack, you know, excessive alcohol consumption, riding my motorbike as well while doing them things, which were very irresponsible. And I think last June, I lost my uncle in a motorcycle accident, and he never touched out like that, never did out like that, wasn't a part of anything like I was a part of. And that guilt weighed on me a lot. Do you know what I mean? That I did all these things and he never did that, and he's the one that copped for it. So after that, I kind of, you know, I had a bad weekend away in Manchester, heavy use of drugs, and I think it was about 2 days after, it must have been a Monday morning coming home from work, I was riding, we're going to a bank actually to get some money out, and it'd been chucking it down with rain. And I was only doing about 20-25 mile an hour, and hit an oil patch, came off, air ambulance come and everything. Thankfully, I walked away from that.
Yeah, definitely.
But that was a bit of a wake-up call of, look, you know, and this was not long after my uncle had died as well.
This can't go on any longer.
Yeah, and first thing I thought when I hit floor was, shit, my mum's going to kill me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because she just lost her brother, and now she's, you know, she's going to be worrying, thinking she's lost her son as well. And then, but I kept going back to drugs, kept going back, ended up losing my family.
Did it start off small? Were you using small amounts and then it just crept up, or
well, I think
straight off bat?
Anybody that falls into addiction, they've started by dabbling at some point.
Gosh,
you know, and that'll be on a night out, and then you kind of go through stresses of life, and you think you remember how that dabbling made you feel. You think, I know what will give me a pick me up, and then you
might have some left from night, or
you end up binging it on a weekend, and then you find yourself spilling into Sunday, sniffing on a Sunday night, Monday, and then it becomes just a full-time occupation. Then, you know, a full-time baghead. But I think it started well before gangland stuff. Yeah. Because I was working on doors. You know, and I did that as well. Like, I wanted to work on doors because of what happened when I was younger. Everybody had this perception of me that, you know, I was one that could pick on. And I grew up thinking, well, no, achieving things to me is a big part of my fuck you type thing. Do you know what I mean? So I went on doors, started boxing, got pretty good at boxing, combat sports, went on doors, worked in Pontefract, a very infamous nightclub there. Got a bit of a reputation on doors there for being like a little Jack Russell, just going in with these. But the reason I go in with them is because I was doing that and that. Do you know what I mean? While we're working, and a lot of doormen do it.
Right.
You know what I mean? A lot of doormen do it. Yeah, you know. Yeah. And it's ironic, isn't it, that, you know, they're the ones that are empowered and to be, you know, controlling that stuff so it don't go on. But they do it. So it sort of started there, came away from it. Fell into alcohol a bit, 4 cans every night, became a bit of a fat fucker, like. And then fell into gangland stuff. And then the weight started dropping off. Yeah. And it was just every day, constantly. Then that led to meth, to crack. And it was just, my mind went, like full 24-hour psychosis. I won't sleep for days, I won't eat for days. You know, your mind just goes elsewhere. The things you're interested in are just not humane. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And it just turns you into a complete different, horrible, disgusting person. You self-neglect, no, you know, personal hygiene, none of that stuff. It doesn't exist anymore when you're a full-time baghead. But I think near the back end of it, a bit of me started shining through again, because I kept saying to my mum, look, you know, this is at the point where I'd been kicked out of the house, and, you know, I sort of didn't have access to my kids anymore. I was saying to my mum, I am going to get clean. I'm going to help other people get clean.
Mega, yeah.
And
Nice.
ironically enough, I was getting other people clean while I was still on it.
Oh, really?
I just couldn't take my own advice. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then
Yeah,
I saw Jody's post on Facebook that he were a recovering addict.
yeah.
And I'd known Jody for about, 10 years?
About 10 years, yeah. We just knew sort of each other, didn't we? We knew of each other.
And I just messaged him saying, help me.
That
So-
was it, literally.
Yeah.
So did you not rehab or anything like that? Were it just a case of one?
You know what? I'm still waiting for a rehab bed to this day. And I can't wait for that. I can't wait for that phone call.
Would that be through NHS then, or? Because
No.
I know I've had mates who have paid privately, and it's extortionate, innit? It's like 10 grand.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I went through a local talking therapies
Right.
company, which is government funded.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
And they kind of made a referral for me.
right.
And I put my name down somewhere local to me as well,
Yeah.
off my own back, like a self-referral. I'm still waiting.
You've not got anything.
Not got anything back.
How long
Um,
ago was that you made the referral?
So that was maybe about 6 months ago.
Fucking hell. And in a lot of cases,
Obscene, innit?
that's life or death.
That's
innit?
where people
Yeah.
lose
If
it.
I hadn't have seen his post on
Yeah.
Facebook, I would have been dead now.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be sat here doing this with you. Do you know what I mean? Because my use were excessive.
Yeah.
Like, it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
If you could, like, as best you can, quantify it, how much would you say you were having on, like, a daily basis, roughly?
Oh, I could tell you how much I would having. I would having between like 3 and 4 grams a day
Jesus.
of cocaine. Like, it would. The moment I wake up, I used to get a plate or a tray, and I used to do 3 lines, 3 fat lines, and there'd be a straw right next to it, and my cycle would be, get on it, stay up for 3 or 4 days, become insanely tired, don't eat, don't drink fluids, and then just crash. Wake up when I wake up, repeat
Go
cycle,
again. Fucking hell.
repeat cycle.
Insane.
Financially, that must have been horrendous as well.
It was. Like, I think I blew about 20 grand.
Yeah.
Yeah, 20. I had the money there, and I blew 20 grand.
Jesus.
And then obviously you go into further debt because you're running up a tick bill. You're getting it all on tick,
Yeah.
and then that's just
It's
another
causing
dark
more
cloud.
stress
Yeah.
on you. Yeah.
Which, ironically enough, as a drug addict, you think, well, to deal with stress, you think, what could take it away? More
Yeah.
drugs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So you got
Vicious
different
cycle,
drug
innit?
dealers, and you get it on tick from them, and you're just constantly building up a debt
Yeah. Yeah.
all
Yeah.
the time. So
It's
that
horrendous,
was my
that.
cycle, yeah, between like 3 and 4 gram a day, with meth included. And
God.
it was just
So 3-4 grams of coke and then the meth on top of that.
Because why
Wow.
did somebody said meth stops you from having coke, doesn't it? Or something?
yeah. I got told meth.
Oh, serious.
I got told, use the meth and it'll get you off the coke. Yeah, as
It's
soon as
mad,
I
isn't it? Yeah.
different beast.
Yeah.
That they were like,
Yeah.
wow. Do you know what I mean? And
Christ.
and that's why I don't trust when people say to me now, "Oh, we've tried, psychedelics, mushrooms and stuff," because I don't care what science you've got behind it, bro.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I'm not touching on what's
Yeah,
going to make
'cause
me trip.
Yeah,
There's a
smart.
lot on LSD and psychedelic mushrooms, isn't there, to show that it can help people get over addictions.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get you. If you've managed to do it without them, then
Yeah,
it's probably
if you're out,
it's probably
stay
wise
out.
to-
Yeah.
It were for me very much a case of, I mean, I'm not religious
no.
by any means, and I can defend. I'll always defend this story that I had my experience with an higher power, because, like I said to you, I can achieve anything I put my mind to. I'm that confident in my own ability, but when it came to beating drug addiction, I surrendered.
Yeah.
I literally surrendered, and I get it now. You know what I mean? Like when you're an active addict and you're looking into recovery, and you're trying to find out how to get out of it.
Yeah.
You see a lot of people saying you need to surrender. You need to, give into an higher power, and you think, bullshit. But I get it. As soon as that happened for me, I got it. Because I literally dropped to my knees in the spare bedroom in my mum and dad's house, and I says, God, help me. I says,
Yeah.
I can't do it. I says, I need help. And then, like that,
Yeah.
the right people,
Just
I
show
started coming across the right people. Do you know what I mean? Bit
Yeah,
by
yeah.
bit. A few people, I went in touch with a few people, and I went to a few AA meetings, but I just felt like it wasn't. As soon as I walked out of the meeting, I was back on bag. I needed a mentor. I needed somebody that were going to be there, that I could be accountable to all the time. I needed that one-to-one personal service. And then I think I'd woke up one morning and the lines were racked up ready for me. And I just went on Facebook and then I saw his post saying that it was about how many months?
I think
sober?
about 4 months. I think I went far into it.
And I read that.
Yeah.
And I just
It was quite an emotional story that I put on. I just woke up and I thought, right, I want to document this because nobody really knew.
Mad.
And I just did it, and then I got so many messages off people, but he stuck out. He just said, "Help me." That was
Yeah.
it. And I was like, right, what's up?
Which shows, like, if you want to put that post on, because people are scared to admit their own
It
flaws,
is,
aren't they,
especially
and their own
blokes.
problems.
Blokes are really.
Yeah.
but off the back of that, I said to you early days, didn't I? I says I want to document my recovery, like not just like little video logs for myself.
Straight in, wasn't you?
Like the day I finished doing a gram,
Yeah.
I put it on Facebook. I'm a drug addict, and everybody was shocked. Everybody was
Yeah.
like, and I knew airing my own dirty laundry. If I air my own dirty laundry, nobody else can do it for me.
No.
There'll always be somebody come out of woodwork and go, yeah, but I know this about him. Listen, right? Fucking list is endless about me,
Yeah,
trust
yeah.
me. But I thought, I'm going to do this, right? I'm going to share this story. And it was quite a smart business idea, actually, because I wanted to get that following from the beginning. You know, I wanted people to see me go. So
Yeah.
they knew I'd lived it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
walk the walk.
I think the first picture was me and you in gym.
yeah, well, that day when I saw him, I was just like, wow.
So had you not seen each other for ages at that
No,
point?
I think last time I saw him, you were on doors, and it was a message.
Yeah.
When you put "help me," I looked back at messages, and it was like 8 years ago.
Fucking hell.
That would so we knew of each other, but we didn't. There were no like relationship as friends,
No.
really.
Yeah.
Just to speak to say hello and that, wasn't it?
But then, yeah.
And he came to gym. Was it Sunday or Saturday?
I think it was Sunday because
Sunday.
it was Friday I messaged you.
Yeah, that were it.
And you said, when do you want to get started? And I said, classic addict behaviour. I says, Monday. Because I wanted to get weekend out of the way first. You know what I mean?
Just
I thought,
finish this.
but then I thought to myself, and I say this to our clients now, I say, that last sesh could be your fatal overdose.
Yeah, too right.
It
Yeah.
could be the straw that breaks the camel's back.
Yeah.
So I think I got that fed up. I said to him, you know what? Forget it. We'll do it Sunday.
ASAP.
We'll do it Sunday.
Yeah.
I says, do it Sunday. I said, I think I had something on the Saturday anyway. I was going somewhere with some family on Saturday. And I think I had my kids on Saturday. I said, we'll do it Sunday. And that's when wheels got in motion. And I documented everything. And I told everybody, didn't I? I says, I'm going to be open and honest. And I'm going to, you know, any struggles, any relapses, I'll put it on. And 8 days in, I relapsed.
How did you?
Messaged me at 4 in the morning, wasn't it?
Yeah. I had a bit.
My heart sunk. But
Yeah.
it were, I sort of expected it because he was putting himself in a social situation where I didn't think he were ready.
What, going out
Going
to
to
pub
watch
or,
bare knuckle boxing.
and that
with his mates
everyone
and
at
that.
them places
Yeah.
is on it. Are
He
on
just-
it, aren't
Yeah.
I warned him, but I didn't want to like have him on strings and pull him back and say, don't do it. But because you do learn from these sort of relapses. And I just said, just be careful. But he was so honest and he just went, I've relapsed. I went, right. We're back to day one now.
Right.
I documented it. You wanted to document it, didn't you? And I went on and said to everybody he's relapsed, but we start again. And then, boom, how many days now?
108 days.
108.
Oh, good effort.
But that drew people in. Like, I already knew while I was still a bag and a crackhead that I was going to have a business helping people. And it's like, instead of getting recovered, you know, or being in recovery and going, this for me, here's a few pictures of me. Strategically, shown from the beginning.
People
You know what I mean?
appreciate the journey, don't they? Not
They
just,
do.
they don't want
They
to
do.
just see wins.
That's
I
it.
think also as well, particularly in this world of Instagram, like everyone it's easy to fall into the trap of feeling a low self-worth because you see the ideal,
much.
don't you,
Yeah.
on Instagram? It's like, oh, look at that person, they've got this house, this car, this life, this everything, and that isn't the reality. It's what they post the best bits, you know, like bodybuilding and stuff is a
Yeah.
prime example.
Yeah.
Best lighting, mad pump.
It's just
you
a
know,
highlight
it's
reel,
literally,
isn't it?
yeah, exactly. So to be real on Instagram and show everything, there'll be people sat somewhere watching that going,
Relating to it.
yeah, exactly, and that
Yeah,
counts
'cause
for loads, doesn't
It
it?
does, yeah.
It does nowadays, 100%.
And then it was what? How many days in when I sent you? A different message.
First thing, yeah, we were about 2 in the morning, and he just sent me this wolf, and I was like, "Mean and clean. What do you think about this?" And I was like,
Looks great. What
is it? And Max went, "It won't piss Tom off at Wolf Supps with it." I says, "No, completely different, isn't it? You know, it goes hand in hand."
They've got blue eyes, we've got green eyes.
Yeah, and you just sort of, because it was my wellness package. So obviously, I was more alcohol. I dabbled in cocaine and stuff, and I lost my mum 3 years ago. In pandemic, and I'd lost my dad when I were 8.
Right.
He died of bone cancer. So I've had quite a traumatic upbringing, and I've always had a drink, but I've never had a problem. Like it be football. I used to have a season ticket for Huddersfield. Don't laugh. And
we can edit that out. It's fine.
Yeah, cut that out. No, and it were like just on a weekend go out. Few beers, and I was fine with that. I were okay, but then I lost my mum, and it started to creep in a bit more because I were on prep as well. My mum died, and then I think it was 11 days later I competed in Wales and I won. I was like that for my mum, and I got into British finals and finished third. But then because I'd restricted myself on prep,
I take it you weren't drinking in that.
I weren't drinking at prep, no. Because I'd restricted myself then, it were like the trauma hit me, the grief started, and I just couldn't control it. So it was like going from 8 cans a day to then a litre of vodka a day.
Yeah.
And then from that, it were 2 litres. And it got to a point where I'd had an argument with Mrs. and I stormed out. And I were working at a place, and in draw they had they had paracetamol.
Yeah.
And I took 57 paracetamol. So I found some tramadol, 10 tramadol,
Fucking hell.
2 litres of vodka.
God. Were you trying to overdose?
I was trying to overdose, yeah, I'd had enough. That were it for me. I was just like, in my head, I want to go see my mum. Because it's all, I'd lost my dad and she was all I had.
Yeah.
So I can remember it clear as day. I took the tablets, I counted them all out, I thought this will do it. And then the tramadol, I thought this will definitely do it. And then the 2 litres of vodka, I thought this will definitely do it. And I laugh about it and smile about it now, obviously, because I'm here. But I drove, I was fine driving, drove home, told Vix, I said, right, I've took an overdose, that's my wife. Yeah. Straight away, my intention was to go to where my parents lived in Huddersfield and die there. That were my intentions. So I drove there. Vix had drunk police. I was like, I didn't care what happened to me. I wasn't bothered. If I got arrested, I got arrested. The only thing that I was bothered about was if I weren't driving erratically, I were actually focused more than you'd think. I weren't smashed because I built up a massive tolerance for alcohol, you know. And I drove to Huddersfield, went to the house, and then I went to where I had my mum's wake. I went to get a pint, believe it or not, pint after all that. My card declined, so I thought Victor stopped my card, which were the right thing to do. And then I drove to a reservoir in Penistone, and I was going to try to drown myself, but it was too cold, I couldn't do that. So I got back out, I crashed my car to try and do that. I came up a banking, spun it round, car spun round. I made sure it were a country road, nobody were around. This were about midnight, and then I drove until I ran out of fuel. And then my intention was, I got in back at car, curled up in back at car, and I thought, hopefully I'll die. And but if I didn't, then I was going to jump off a bridge or something next day.
Fucking hell, man.
And luckily, the obviously police, I were all over Facebook. I had my phone with me, but I were ignoring it. I remember the number, 792 missed calls. I had 811 WhatsApps, and I had 612 messages. I'll never forget that. Right. So obviously people were worried. And so I went back at car. I couldn't sleep because it was a Scirocco and all the seats were like bucket eating back, and I was like, for fuck's sake. And I'd sobered up by then, but I didn't feel well. No. Obviously the tablets.
Yeah.
So I couldn't get to sleep. I was like just moving about. And And all of a sudden, this torch, like, thing, I thought, what's this? And I thought, is it heaven?
Yeah.
Like, no, it's the coppers. So police knocked on the door. You're right. I was like, yeah, I'm fine. And they're like, right, we need to get you to hospital. We know what's happened. We've been speaking to your partner. So they'd been to my house in East Ardsley, and they'd gone looking for me. And they got diverted. The road was shut, and they were heading back to my house saying they couldn't find me, and they got diverted from that road, and it took them past, and my car pinged up. Weird. So we're lucky that they found me, first and foremost. Took me straight to hospital. I were in there 6 days. I were on acute care ward. I think I had 64 litres of fluids every day for 24 hours, pumping in for 6 days. And the doctors were baffled. They didn't believe what I'd took. Yeah. They were like, that's not possible. And I put it down to being big and muscly. Yeah. But I came out of there and I weren't ready to go home. I weren't ready to face my family. I felt like I'd let everybody down because at that point, I wanted to die. That were it. That were my intention. And it didn't work. So I thought, fucking hell, everyone's going to be pissed off at me. And so I went into the Beckling Centre in Leeds, which is a care home for mental health, and I said, look, it's a voluntary one. You can go in, but they normally keep you for 2 days, and that's it. I were in there 2 weeks. Right. No phone, no contact with anybody, no family. The Vics could have come and seen me, but I didn't want anybody. And that were the 2 weeks in there where I thought, right, I've rid my rock bottom out now, let's go. And from them, I hadn't relapsed from that, and now I'm 304 days.
Wow, good effort.
And my life now is just stopping drinking for me. Like I said, the drugs weren't a problem, but stopping drinking, I didn't think I could do it. And the intention at first were, I can go out with lads and have a little drink. I can't do that. No. I didn't even try it, and now it disgusts me. Like, funny story at Christmas. So, we got some Malibu or something, and I poured it, and I got it on my hand, and it was like as if it were acid. I was I've got to wash this off. Wash this off, and that's how I feel about it now. Right. That's how I feel about alcohol. I just find it as, for me, it's the devil's poison. Yeah. And obviously I've got nothing against drinking. People in control, that's what it's there for. It chills you out. It does chill you out, but it couldn't me. I couldn't drink now because I know I'd just relapse and I'd just get smashed again.
It'd take you back to them.
It would,
shit times as
and
well.
It would just the progression of the drink just went so quick. It were like I said, 1 litre. It got up to 6 litres a day. I was drinking.
How long
vodka.
were you drinking like that for?
Probably about 2 months.
Right.
And it were on a morning. I was going to the shop on a morning for some bread.
Yeah.
And I'd get a little bottle of vodka and neck it in the car before I got home. We're still finding empty bottles of vodka in the house now. Well, I've forgot that I've stashed somewhere. So I was secret drinking. And fair play to my wife. She's now my wife, so we got married on 20th of December, obviously. Okay. And this is a funny story as well. So we got married in this hotel, this country house in Haworth. It was the Bronte sisters. It was something to do with them. I think they lived there. So at 11 o'clock at night, we'd got married, all that lot. We were the only people in the hotel. The staff had gone home, and there was an honesty bar. So Vix went, an honesty bar. So you went into this bar, and you just wrote down what you take, what you have. So right. Vix knew, and she went, well, you got to get me the wine. So I went into the honest, everything was there, and I just didn't bother me one bit. And it were just good. It would just, that were a test. That were a real test, because I just thought, what if I just, and the intrusive thoughts start, what if I just, what if that thing in there, what if I just.
Like your wedding as well, when you're celebrating, like that's usually what drinks.
I just we didn't have a cake, we just got some Krispy Kreme donuts, you know, and that's how we did it, and it were perfect. But now, like, my relationship with my family, I've cut my circle down of friends. There's only him now, really, and that Burno the Viking, and I've had to. That's what you have to do in addiction. Yeah, they're not your friends. If they won't support you, they won't do it in front of you. I said, no, we're not going to do that.
It's one of them, innit? They're not really your mates if you have to go out and get smashed or off your face.
That's it.
To enjoy a night out with them.
Yeah.
As soon as they mutter the words to you, when you say you don't want to do that life anymore, as soon as them words leave their lips, well, you're boring.
You're boring. That's
See ya.
mate, that's
Yeah.
my
Goodbye.
opinion, that.
Yeah.
I don't want to know you. Do you know what I mean?
It's like
Straight away.
when you do turn. I went out for a meal with all Mrs.'s family the other day, and I had a busy day Saturday. It was Friday night, and usually I'd go out and have 8 or 9 pints and just feel like shit. And I sat down. They all ordered pints, and I just said, "I'll have a Diet Coke," and they all looked at me like,
Yeah.
"What the fuck? What are you doing?
Yeah.
You all right?"
I know.
It's
Isn't
weird
it?
though if you think about
And
it.
if it were like, if I'd have pulled out a bag of Coke and been like,
Go on then.
"Yeah, not everyone getting on Coke tonight."
Yeah,
it'd have been
anybody
like,
want some of this? No, what? Fuck it, why?
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Boring.
it's insane.
Boring.
But you know what though? The funny thing is that I'd say maybe 7 out of 10 people now do it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Especially
Yeah.
on nights out, and the people that we've come across now.
Do coke, you mean?
Yeah, it's people
Really
that
massive.
you would
It's
not
massive.
expect.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? Because now obviously, like we were saying, you had the wellness package that I came into,
Yeah.
but then
So like a train and talk
yeah,
Yeah.
about, because I knew addiction, and I thought it got to a point in my recovery where I wanted to help people because it gives me accountability to stay
Yeah.
clean and sober.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I've got to be on this pedestal of people staying clean and sober.
Yeah.
So you were my Frankenstein. That's what we call it.
but that like he said, he got to that stage in his recovery where he wanted, you know, to be more accountable by helping other people. I were already seeking that sort of. I had to put myself out on the world platform to make sure I didn't relapse.
Yeah. Yeah.
I had to put myself, in, you know, so much in the public view that I could risk losing reputation, everything, blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah. Like, it couldn't get any
Yeah.
worse for me because everybody's just found out I'm a pipe and a baghead. You know what I mean? So, like, how worse could it have got? But when you get branded as, you know, you ain't got it in him. I hate that when people go, you ain't got it in you.
Yeah.
You don't have
Can't
it.
do it.
You
Loads of people
you can't
told
have
me I
it.
couldn't stop.
Yeah.
You can't do it. Do you know what I mean? That's the stuff
That's
that
fuel,
gets me
innit?
going.
Mm.
So I want people to doubt me.
Yeah.
I put it out there. I wanted people to talk. I wanted people to talk shit about me because I thought
Yeah.
that's going to light the biggest fire under my ass
Yeah.
and just watch what comes next.
Nice.
And then we just started talking about doing podcasts, didn't we?
Yeah, that was the first thing. It was just like, should we do some podcasts about his experiences?
talk
It
about
might
it
it
and-
might help people.
yeah.
And then we said we set up a Facebook page and we did the recovery video. I think the recovery video of yours was just the
2.1 million views I got on Facebook.
Nice.
just like
Just opens up with a load of empty bags. There's about 17, 18 empty bags on there. Crack pipe.
I've seen. If
That
anyone's listening, head over to Mean and Clean
yeah, you'll see it.
and look. It's super inspiring as well. Though.
It just sort of shows that journey.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Back and like getting my kids back, and then when I got to day 50 of being clean, I got my family back. Do you know what I mean? So and it was their first day back at school, my kids' first day back at school. So I was able to take them to school, me and my
Nice.
missus
Sober and
with kids. You know what I mean? All
Yeah.
together as a family, and it were great. Do you know what I mean? It meant a lot to us because it were day 50 and first day back at school. You know, a lot of stuff had happened because me and my partner had broke up for 3 months. You know, a lot of stuff happened in that time, but it were kind of like she had a lot of trauma from what I put her through, the
Yeah.
addiction, because when you're an addict, you're a dickhead. You turn into a dick. Do you know what I mean? And you're just not yourself. You're not at home. You're neglecting the family. Their feelings don't matter. It's all about you. But then
I'm very much in denial as well.
Yeah,
that
you
you're
are.
not, that I'm not addicted.
Yeah, don't have a
I've
problem.
not had a drink.
I can
and
control
I'm
it.
like slurring my words. Vic's like, yeah, you have. Like, no, I haven't. What are you on about?
You've had a drink.
yeah,
you
you
have.
have. but and then they tend to get shocked, don't they? Like when you go into recovery because you are selfish as an addict, but you're even more
You've got to be
selfish
more
in recovery.
selfish as
Yeah.
recovery.
Yeah.
you got to put
You have to
yourself first.
Really protect it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're not doing
Um,
it for anybody else. You're doing it for you, and then everything else follows.
And in turn, it benefits everyone else around you.
Yeah. It's well, you can't pour from an empty cup, right? You gotta
Oh,
do
yeah.
that first, sort
Yeah.
yourself out, and then it will.
Like you said,
do itself.
your New Year's resolution.
To just stay sober.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the back of my head, I wanted to help people. I wanted my family back, and but they wasn't the main things.
No.
It was to just simply stay sober because I knew the rest would follow.
Yeah.
I knew Mean and Clean would take off. I knew I'd get my family back. I knew I'd get my partner back. And I was probably a bit cocky thinking that at the time because I put her through a bloody hell and I thought she'll never have me back. But somewhere in the back of my head and my heart, I knew
That's
Yeah.
the right
all I've got to
thing
do is stay clean.
Yeah.
And it just kind of happened, and now we're 3 months into the year, and you know we still have. We're always going to be in recovery, and we always have problems. Families, relationships still always have problems, but we just do as best, don't we? To just
and we document it with our guys. With our guys on the Mean and Clean program, we will put like Saturday for me was one of the hardest days I've had.
Really?
I think you saw it. I think you commented, didn't you?
This Saturday just gone.
Yeah, because on Sunday I was day 300.
Right.
And it was like self-sabotage. It was like I had suicidal thoughts again. It felt like I was when I took that overdose. That's how I felt. And I just knew that the devil was spreading his dust again and stuff. And but I documented it. I came on, I said, listen, I feel shocking. I feel suicidal. Everyone rallied round. But it didn't go away, and it was strong. The feelings were strong in my head. And I just used the coping mechanisms and strategies that I've got. And then Sunday, it was there a little bit on Sunday, but not as bad, and now it's just gone.
What are the things that you use to
just
feel
silly
better or
things?
cope?
So like, obviously, in a family house when you're feeling like that and kids are screaming, I get anxiety. I get, I'm shaking and stuff. So I will just literally go for a little walk around block.
Right.
Maybe document a video while I'm doing it, saying how I'm feeling, and I watch it back and look at how I'm feeling, and it goes in a little bit different when I watch myself back. Cold shower.
big on cold water therapy, mate.
Cold water therapy.
Like
You
literally
know, Tom?
the first days,
I need to get back on that.
the early days of especially coming off hard drugs.
Drugs more, innit?
It literally, that for me, it was a case of sauna, cold shower, hard gym workout, sauna, cold shower, every fucking day. You know what I mean? Every day in the beginning. And that for me gave me that natural endorphin release. Because like when you're coming off a heroin, they give you methadone.
Right.
Yeah, but there's no substitute for cocaine,
No.
for crack, for meth. There's no substitute. So it's just basically
Trying
down
to
to
make yourself
natural
feel
endorphin
good,
releases, yeah.
Endorphin. Like
So-
when you've had a good session at gym, them
Because
endorphins.
your serotonin, when you do
Yeah,
come off stuff
serotonin,
like that, your serotonin's on the floor, innit?
Yeah, it's just zero.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's very much like, if, steroids, for example,
Yeah.
it shuts your natural test system down. And then if you don't do anything to sort of prompt your natural, test to sort of start working again, it's just flat. You just, everything goes.
yeah.
So that's very much what it's like with your endorphin release, your dopamine release, when you come off, because you're putting like a fake manufactured endorphin into your body, a chemical that's making you feel okay. And that's very much how I look at antidepressants as well. You know what I mean? It's sort of, they wanted to put me on them.
Is that SRIs or what they're called?
Yeah, well, like sertraline and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
But I didn't want to do it because for me it was just swapping one poison for another. Do you know what I mean? The effects in the moment are different.
Yeah.
Cocaine's an instant hit,
Yeah.
but it still messed with that chemical imbalance, and I didn't want that. I wanted to feel the actual pain
Yeah.
of being sober. I wanted to deal with the issues
Yeah.
sober, because if you try to just cover it, they're not going away.
Well, it's like Jody said with grieving, and obviously you'd kind of suppress that by doing the show.
Yeah, because I
And
was
then-
thinking, and it was like, I was thinking what my mum would want. My mum would say,
Yeah.
get on with it, crack on with it, go win it for me. And I did that, and then it was just everything had gone.
But it's like when
And I
you
was
put
just
that
like-
wall up, and then when it eventually
Yeah,
caves
and then it
in,
was just like,
it
boom, all
floods, doesn't
food,
it? Yeah.
all drink, and it just
Everything at
spiraled
once.
massively. And that was the grief then of, it was just daily
Yeah.
drink and eating rubbish. Not even training, you know what I mean?
Were none of your training when you were...
No, I weren't training. No,
not
obviously
off.
when I got to off season, after my shows, it's all or nothing with me. So it's like if I'm in prep, I'm in prep. I'm up at 2 in the morning walking. I'm thinking no other person on that stage is going to be doing this at 2 in the morning. then I'd eat, and then I'd probably do another walk. Nobody's doing this. But then when I'm drinking, it's like the same. Nobody's doing this, and I'm absolutely smashed, falling apart and stuff. But then the added pressure of losing my mum and then actually thinking about it. So that focused on the show,
Yeah.
wanting to do it for my mum. That the fire were there, the passion were there, the determination, the discipline, everything were there. And then when I'm not got a show, I'm like, Well, you've seen pictures of when I start. I always put myself under so much pressure because I get fat in off season. You know, I don't even, like last time, I didn't even really train. But then I can just, when I switch it, I'm on it. But this time now, because I'm sober, my off season and my conditions good, really, for where I'm at now. So when I start prepping June or something, I think for September show, I'll be way ahead of what I normally am.
Excited,
and
you want to be in all right nick.
Yeah, I want to be in good nick this time, and it'll be the first time I've done a show from a good starting point instead of being a fat alcoholic.
It's where a lot of people, you'll know obviously from your experience, where a lot of people run into trouble, isn't it? They kind of don't leave themselves enough time to shift what they need to shift weight wise, and then end up like having to properly chock it too quick, and then obviously you'll flat and stringy, muscle goes.
That's
it's just a
disaster.
you're
You're losing body fat, but you're losing muscle as well.
Yeah. So if you're not as fat to start with, you've got less to do. You can take more time with it.
That's it. Yeah. This next prep for me should be a breeze. It should be a breeze.
Yeah.
Nice. Should. It will. Touch wood. Will be a breeze.
Will be
for you.
Well, because you got different mentality now.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And circumstances are different as well. It's like everything we always say, when you get sober, everything's in HD.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
tell our clients that life becomes HD when you become sober.
It's good that. It's a good little
like
saying.
I don't think I've been this long gone sober since maybe before I ever touched a drop of alcohol.
Yeah.
Which, if I'm being completely honest, probably I think my granddad gave me a swig of beer when I was 1 year old. So, you know what I mean? This is probably...
dummy in beer.
Dummy in beer.
Been too loud, have that.
So it's like now, when you have years of like alcohol and drug abuse, to be 108 days clean now and, 104 for you, is it? 304, sorry.
304 days off.
Yeah. But it is a shock to the system.
Puts things in
and it
perspective.
is a big number to be clean and sober. But at the same time, in comparison to how long we did it for, it's still early doors.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So my body still physically is finding ways to cope with not having it. Do you know what I mean?
People don't realise, do they? Like, you might start drinking at 14, 15, or most lads do anyway.
Yeah.
And 25, 30, you've had a drink every weekend, and that's just normal. Like,
and people can't stop. A lot of people want to stop, but they just can't.
I think part of the problem as well is like people who have never had that addiction, perhaps maybe lack empathy, which I think is something everyone can work on, really.
Yeah.
But then you just get labelled as well. It's just like, crackhead, whatever.
Yeah.
That's it.
He can't stop because he's got no willpower or
Once
anything.
a crackhead, always a crackhead.
Yeah,
You
and
know
it's
what I
just
mean?
it's such a shame, really.
And it is
that's how
because
society
addiction is an illness.
Of course it is.
It's an illness, and obviously we know that.
But, I think, people just assume you're lazy sometimes, or you can't escape that.
Just stop.
Circle and
just stop.
Yeah, it's easy.
It's
Just don't have a
easy,
drink.
just stop.
Easy as that. And it's like, well, if only. Like,
It's like when people say that, why can't you just stop? I say, all right, then put your phone down for 24 hours. And take a mental note of every time you want to pick it up.
True.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Nobody could do that.
Well, everyone's addicted to something in some way, aren't they?
Yeah.
Like we've all got unhealthy addictions, and we don't realise that they are addictions.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like I'm technically still an addict because I'll always be an addict. I've got that addictive personality, but I'll use e-cigs, and I can't be without one.
Yeah.
So I'm still addicted to nicotine.
Yeah.
I'm just not fighting with door handles on my own shadow this time. That happened. That day I did take a door handle on and I lost.
And want that elephant.
Yeah.
You've got to tell elephant
Oh
stories.
shit, there's another elephant.
I know, that's what
that
triggered.
So as soon as I mentioned elephant, I thought the fucker's back. So in the bedroom where I was staying at my mum and dad's house, obviously I'd left family house, gone up to my mum and dad's house, and it used to be my bedroom anyway, but there's a big sort of like abstract canvas painting of an elephant, and I think I was like day 4 into my binge, into my cycle.
Yeah.
And I was walking upstairs and my mum were behind me, and I put my head through the bedroom door, and I dived on the floor, and I jumped up going, fucking, what? She went, what the bloody hell are you doing? I went, fucking trunk on that, it's going everywhere. I says, it's like Joseph and his Technicolor Dreamcoat. I was like, fucking hell. And she went, what are you on about? I says, the elephant, Mum. Can't you see the elephant's trunk moving? She went, no more drugs for you. Get you sent to bed. Good idea. Out. But yeah, that was it. And then later on that day, she come home from work and I was arguing with door handle because it was staring at me. But that's what it does to you. Yeah. That's what it does to you.
It's crazy, isn't it? You laugh about it now, but that's
good
pretty fucking mental, isn't it?
I mean, we've got pretty good humour.
I think, because you have to.
Probably helps.
You know, it does help, and like it seems weird when I talk about my overdose and I'm smiling. And it's a weird how you sort of react to it, isn't it? You know what I mean? But yeah, the elephant and the
elephant in the room brings a whole new fucking thing. Yeah. But you know what? People get shocked when we say, well, when I say it all the time. I'm glad I suffered with addiction. I'm grateful for that addiction. Yeah. Because I will literally try to turn anything into a positive. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? I will go 100 miles an hour with it. Like literally, if I broke my ankle today, you know, I would do a documentary on Netflix about how I broke my ankle and how I've recovered from it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because that's just how I am.
So it's a lesson in it, and you know that other people will be going through that as well, and it helps if you've been through it and you can.
I think too many people as well, like with it, if they've been they feel sorry for themselves that they've had addiction. And like I'm happy I had it, because I don't think without that rock bottom moment I could have stopped drinking. Yeah. Yeah. And you know, and I think people look at it, I do feel bad for what's happened in my life, but now because I'm clean and sober, I use it as motivation what's happened. And it just you prove to people that you can do it. You can get through it. We've both had traumatic pasts but I've got no parents now. But I just think what my mum always said to me, I think you need to stop drinking. And I'm like, oh, right. Yeah. And she, it's like she knew. And that was a little bit before she died as well. And I just hope now she can see that this is me now, and she'd be proud. And I think too many people dwell on the past. Yeah. It's happened, it's history, it's part of life. You know, you've got one shot at it. And if you're going to dwell on the past and the traumas that you've had then in a negative way, then it's just going to lead to a negative life. Yeah. Whereas using it as a positive and thinking mum and dad would be really proud of this now, instead of thinking I wish I had my mum and dad. Still talk and that to them. And the drink and stuff, you know, it's made me realise my life now and my path that I want to take. And it is about mean and clean and helping each other. Yeah. Helping other people.
Well, you look as well, like, stemming back from, I mean, how weird is it? I mean, we're both big believers that everything happens for a reason. Fate. And that happened, and I was meant to see you post. We came together. You know, this idea came up, and now, like, we've got 23,000 followers on Facebook. You know, TikTok's just blown up today, all of a sudden. We get over 200 messages a day from people all around the world. That's amazing. You know, with addiction issues.
Mexico.
Yeah.
Do you know it's top city? Bangkok.
Right.
Really? Bangkok, Castleford.
Australia, and then New Zealand. It's like, where did Cass come from? You know what I mean?
Cass is in there, not England.
It's because of me, Cass, putting Cass on map.
But we get messages.
Do you think that addiction problems are growing in society?
Yeah, they're massive.
Cost of living crisis. Yeah. People use it. I used it for self-medication. Yeah. That was to numb everything, but it just makes everything worse.
Escape from reality, isn't it?
The thing is, I know I sound like probably like an old man because I'm whittering on about it, but I think social media causes depression on like a large scale.
Yeah, it does.
Massive.
And I think that's probably a contributing factor to why self-medicating, why it happens, because people always just dwell on that ideal, and it's almost like it's like the little kid outside, you know, with a Pied Piper just wants what he can't have, and it's just there, and and they see this perfect thing and get depressed that that's not their own life. Oh, I want those shoes, I want that physique, I want that X, Y, Z. They can't have it, and then become demotivated. I'll never be that, and then just I feel sad. I'll have a drink, and then it's just one drink, and then all of a sudden. So I honestly think that
it's a massive.
To me, if I could delete social media,
I think that's why
it's hard because you guys do wonderful things on it, but as a whole, not a fan.
I think that's why doing stuff like this is so important. Long format conversations. It's not that short format stuff that people are swiping and swiping. People can sit and watch something like this or listen, and they actually get value from it.
That's it.
And then maybe a problem comes up in their life, and they're like, right, I heard what Jody and Marcus were saying. Let's use this as power.
That's sort of like with our short videos and stuff. We don't really, because we know how social media is a highlight reel for people's lives, and people look at it and think, well, you know, especially for women, they think, well, my body don't look like a Kardashian's body. Do you know what I mean? Like, why, you know, and in reality, like, men love a natural body. They don't want the fucking, you know, the fake stuff. And so that's why, like, we don't talk about the successes we have. Every now and again, we'll drop we'll drop a statement in saying that we're recovering addicts and we've created a successful business now to show people it can be done. But when we do our videos, like, I'm talking about my own experience, but in the third person. Like, I'm talking to somebody who's watching that while they're still on the sesh in a kitchen, while they're ignoring the missus's phone calls. And so they're just flicking through the phone if they've still got battery, because I never had battery at that time. You know what I mean? So, but by the off chance the you know, scroll and they see my video, it's literally like a lot of people have said, like, I were on the sesh, and I'm scrolling and you've just popped up and you're telling me what I'm doing that moment, and you're telling me how I'm feeling.
Well, I've just literally seen that on that TikTok that's popped off. I was scrolling comments and someone literally commented that. It's literally wild. Reaches out to so many people, because we're not sat there going, have you got addiction problems? Come see two former addicts, we can get you clear. It's not like that.
We've lived it. We tell it how it is. We tell it how we felt at the time.
And funny thing is as well, like, people still accuse me of being on bag when I'm doing video. Like, listen, right? It's I've been there. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've lived it. I could reel off every scenario in Sesh book there is. Do you know what I mean? And everything we say is just what we've lived. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's loads of stuff I've not gone into yet, because I still kind of need to try find peace in my own head to share that. Do you know what I mean? Like, certain experiences when I've been on it, or things that have happened. A lot of things I can't really talk about, you know, because of my association with certain people and things like that. But yeah, we do it because we lived it. Do you know what I mean? And that's why we do the videos the way we do. And then they make the way to us profile platforms, and then they see what we offer. And we just get so many people getting in touch. And when you think drug addict, you're thinking somebody shooting up, you know, heroin.
Scruffy. You think drug addict, for me, first thing I think of is Train Spotting.
Yeah, something like that.
Film. I do think of that scruffy house, but it isn't. It's
families.
It's businessmen. They've got families, and they're doing it on way home in car. Quick sniff.
It's that typical workman.
It's totally different.
That takes his van home for work, and he's wearing overalls, fluorescent overalls, and he's driving about. It's him. He's picking a gram up every morning, and he's doing it. And by the time he gets home, he don't go in the bloody house, because he knows his tea's going to be made for him when he gets home. And he ain't gonna eat it. Do you know what I mean?
I saw your video. I don't know. It might be on Facebook or something, where you're on about, like, doing it, like, on the way to, like, the building yard and whatever, and you've got to, like, try and hide that you've got no powder on your nose and make sure the client doesn't see. And
that one today.
Is that the one that's blown up? Even I saw it, and I'm never on social media.
It's also, I just think of everything I used to do, like one cubicle sniffer. I labelled one cubicle sniffer. You get down pub with your boys and you've arranged to meet dealer at pub. You know, you get a text message off dealer saying he's outside, so you run outside, you do your shady little deal. Dealer tells you, I've chucked you a bit more in there, I'm looking after you. He's not looking after you, mate. He's just trying to get you up. So you then run to the toilet, boom, cubicle door shut, you pretend you're having a shit when you're not. Full 9 yards, you know, toilet roll comes out, cough, flush, boom, you flushed it again twice, you know what I mean, because you've got to keep up with lie. You know, you've got to let people hear you wiping your ass and then flush it again. And then you come out, wipe your nose, forget to wash your hands, so go back, do that, wash your hands and walk out. And it's like, videos like that relate to people because they're doing it. You know what I mean? But literally it is your sweet little old grandmas and, you know, granddads that are doing it as well.
It is. Like, in our group, we've got we stem from, we've got Wales, Scotland, all over England, Great Britain, and we've got people that are 60 odd, 50 odd.
Serious?
Yeah.
I think his youngest is about 23. Yeah. And you think coke addict, you think younger.
Yeah.
But no. It's completely wrong. Like the stigma around it is just wrong.
Yeah.
You don't realise how rife it is.
Yeah, it is rife.
Coke. It's probably nearly outweighing alcohol.
With people who are older as well, they've got more financial freedom, so they can support it that way. Mm-hmm. There's not the problem of, oh shit, I can't afford it.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, they have the financial freedom at that time.
Yeah.
But the greater, the more they use it, the greater the tolerance becomes to it.
Yeah.
Which
like
then leads to spending more.
Yeah.
I mean, I thankfully never got to the stage of stealing. You know what I mean? But I did get to the stage of if I were with somebody and they knew I would try to get off it, but I knew they had it, I would feel like I was ready to become violent towards them to get it off them.
Right.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like I would go around and find drug dealers.
Yeah.
And tax drug dealers. I'd walk into a pub, bang, take the gear, and go.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's the extent I got to. Do you know what I mean? It were mad. But everywhere I went, I could get it. I could get hold of it. And a lot of people that do watch our content, we do get some haters commenting because they're like, yeah, well, you weren't like that fucking so long ago when you were, begging for it. Listen, with me, there's no in between, right? I either am or I'm here or I'm there. So I'm either a full-blown addict or I'm full-blown recovery god. Do you know what I mean? There's no just...
We actually got labelled that, didn't we?
Yeah, recovery gods.
Recovery gods, haven't we?
Nice.
I like
That's
that.
the next hoodie, that.
I like that,
recovery gods, yeah. But
I think the thing with the videos as well and the shorts and that is we don't plan them. We don't bring up and say, right, shall we just... I'll do a video because I'm shit at uploading stuff like that. So I'll do a video and it'll be off the cuff. It'll be just how I feel at that moment. I'll be just like, right, this is my feeling. Like this morning, I had a bit of a rant, probably because I'd had 4 hours sleep from my daughter. But I would just too many people feel sorry for themselves as well, and I hate the word man up in mental health.
Yeah.
But there's depression, right? And there's being a lazy bastard, and like there's a fine line between it both. Yeah. But you can do it. And too many people, like I say about like trauma and stuff, they feel sorry for themselves and that's their excuse and they're so weak in the head that, all right, I'll have a drink. I'll get a bag. And you've got to take the bull by its horns and just really work towards it and stop being a fanny. Some people are. Some people depression is real. I'm not saying it in. Yeah. But some people, there's a line where stop being lazy, get up, go for a walk. Just because you're depressed, you've got legs and arms that work. Do you know what I mean? We say, don't we, recovery is not on your good days, it's on your bad days. Yeah. It's when you don't want to do something, you force yourself to do it. Yeah. Like every morning without fail now, I'll jump into an ice tub. I'll jump into that tub, I'll go for a run, I'll get myself to the gym, hot and then a cold shower again. Oh, yeah. You know what I mean? I will, because my belief is as soon as I wake up, if I put myself in an uncomfortable situation, as soon as I open my eyes, like everything else there's a doddle. Yeah, yeah. Do you know what I mean? Putting yourself in an uncomfortable situation tomorrow morning, aren't you?
I am, yeah. Well,
he's doing mush camp.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but let's say how many of them men would jump into an ice tub. There we go, you know what I mean? Yeah. I'll always say I'm one of the most ballsiest people that you'll ever meet because I'll give anything a go to prove anybody wrong.
It's when you do it, innit? On first thing on the morning, you tick something off that you really don't want to do.
That's what it's about. And
then it's like them other tasks that come up later in the day, or if that voice creeps in saying, get the bag in or whatever. Yeah. It's so much easier than to say, no, look, I'm not doing that because I've done
we always say the first 90 minutes of your day is crucial. I agree. Very important. Especially recovering addicts. Yeah. Because that'll set your tone for the day. Yeah, if you're dwelling about, moping about, then you're going to do that for the rest of the day. If you get up and about and get at them, then you're going to do that for the rest of the day. Yeah. With addictive personality, that's how it goes.
It's one of them things, it's like a double-edged sword, isn't it? Addictive personality. It's like if it's channeled in the right way, you could be ridiculously successful.
Yeah.
Or if it's channeled for the wrong thing, you can be in a world of trouble.
Yeah, the people who have addictive personalities and do go into business and get addicted to growing the business.
We're addicted to this now.
Yeah.
Exactly, like that. You two are the most well-equipped people to boom a business, essentially.
Yeah. Even before that,
particularly this one.
I knew, like, I'd had businesses before. I started my own security company, so...
At 21, wasn't it? That?
I was 21 years old,
Yeah.
and obviously I was working on doors for different people, different companies and stuff. And I was getting a load of contracts and agreements for this one company that were northeast based. And I thought, why the hell am I? Why am I handing these venues over to them? They're buying into me. So I thought, right, a bit of industrial espionage, boom, boom, boom. So, checking the clients, and I started my own thing. Anyway, this company found out what I was doing. I got the sack, but funnily enough, I've got a mate who worked at the site where I worked at the time when I got dismissed, and he was in a gatehouse, and there was a roundabout at the bottom of this, stretch of road where gatehouse was, and he calls it the £1 million roundabout, because at that time we thought we were going to become a millionaire off it. I didn't. He said he always remembers I was stood there with my box of stuff, and the next car that came and picked me up was a minibus full of all my lads that I'd already got together the night before, because I agreed to sublet my company out, my new company that I'd only just formed, to another security company to go do the bodyguarding for the Killers in Little Mix that weekend. So I literally got sacked and then picked up by my own guys to go to Bolton and do that. That night I made $6,000.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So
Nice.
I've gone from making 11 quid an hour to $6,000 in a night.
Yeah.
And then next day it was Little Mix, and then like 3 o'clock in the morning got a phone call. We need you to go guard this millionaire's house. He's going to have Ollie Mers and Vernon Kay there. I'm like, what the fuck? So I'm like, yeah, I had no staff whatsoever, but I promised him I'd get him 10 staff. Anyway, literally, I rang everybody I knew, paid for people to come down from top, bottom of the country, just get your ass up here as quick as you can.
Yeah.
And and because I took stuff on like that, but I was able to go from, that to that just because I threw myself into it.
Yeah.
And then obviously my attention, but I think I really wanted to be a badass. That's where it kind of went downhill for me.
Yeah.
Potential wise, because of all the trauma I went through and the bullying and, sort of like people
like to prove a point.
Yeah, because I wanted to prove a point that much. It sort of self-sabotaged me.
Yeah.
So I wanted to be the feistiest fucker you knew. I wanted to be the hardest lad you meet. I wanted to be a part of, a notorious gang. I wanted them associations. I wanted to be seen fighting. And I wanted to be seen, dealing and, taxing drug dealers, and I wanted to be seen doing that.
Yeah.
Because to me, nobody's going to bully me now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's that authority. And it was like, well, everything I really cared about ended up, I lost it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I had to lose my missus and my family in order for me to go, you know what? Wake up.
Yeah.
That is not important.
Yeah.
The ego, the all this bullshit story I'm telling myself. I know I can look after myself. I know, I'm respected. I don't need to show anybody that.
No.
Do you know what I mean? And when you get to a point where you think, I don't need to prove anything to anybody, just myself.
It's just peace, innit?
Yeah.
That's it.
Feel good.
So now
That's
it's
the
a
goal,
case.
though, innit?
Now it's a case of look. And I was always saying, like, why all this potential I've got? Why have I become an addict? Why is my life? Why am I going to end up dying? Why is this? How it ends. And then, like, from the past with business sense and being an addict, put it together,
Yeah.
meaning clean,
Yeah.
and it's like boom.
You had to keep that meaning.
Yeah, keep the meat. Yeah, you know what I mean. And
But it is, and that's how we come across on videos. Like, somebody commented on mine saying, "Why are you swearing?" Because I'm passionate about it. Because on Sunday I was outside that shop and I was swearing because I would have got a bottle of vodka 300 days ago from there. So the passion comes out.
Yeah, of course.
If you don't like it, don't watch it.
No.
And we put on his YouTube videos that it's for adults. So
Yeah.
just take a sit down.
the end of the day, though, it's like so many kids are getting involved in it now.
I think it's cool.
Do you know what I mean? So many kids are getting involved in drug dealing, taking drugs. You know, they're buying bloody e-cigs that have got like some sort of weed in it or some.
That girl recently, wasn't there? Saw flying around where she got a vape pen with spice in it.
Yeah.
No, had it and ended up in hospital because of it.
It's happening a lot. Do you know what I mean? But the sad thing is, a lot of kids now are failing at school willingly because they know that they're going to go into a life of crime anyway.
Yeah.
And they feel like that's the better option.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It is sad.
There's a lot wrong with the education system in general, I think.
Yeah,
and
there is.
I can say that as an ex-teacher, I can seeing it firsthand. Like, there's so many problems, but one of the things I think it struggles with massively, kind of what you touched upon earlier, there's no, even from being a young age to go, right, you don't want to get fat, don't eat a million McDonald's, do a bit of exercise every week. It's really important. You don't want to be a fat shit. That's basically kind of what you get taught in schools, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's zero mentioned about mental health, which is so important. And if it is, it's kind of like a token. Oh, we'll do a mindfulness day this week. Mindfulness day? You mastered mindfulness in a day, have you? Well done. Amazing. Yeah. And it's like, it needs so much more emphasis.
It is. And
from
there's
a young
for me,
age.
There's too much at schools. There's too much emphasis on like subjects and lessons, but it should be about life.
It should. Well, also as well, not everyone is going to be the best mathematician.
Exactly.
No, they're not. I can only count to F.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
But when was the last time you used trigonometry?
Yeah.
Probably never.
That sounds like a shape to me. Something to do with shapes.
So it is something to do with shapes.
Algebra.
Yeah, but you don't need it, but you do need to know budgeting. Everyone needs that. It's really important. You need to know how to apply for a mortgage. You need to know all these kind of things that are money based, but as long as you can do the basics, that's it.
Yeah.
Skills, basic life skills, survival skills.
But you end up in a situation where people that just don't give a shit about. I'm picking on maths. I love maths, but like people picking on. People obsessing. You need to be amazing at maths for all this. No, you don't. Not everyone does need to be amazing at everything. You just need you need the fundamentals of things, and then you might be a shit hot plumber. Yeah. But there's no outlet for that in school. It's like, no, you must be getting your English and maths and all this and read Shakespeare. What? It's sorry, Shakespeare, it's shit. Yeah. And it's of no use to anyone. But you know what I mean? So it's just the whole thing needs a massive, massive rehaul.
It does. I've worked in a couple of schools, one SEN one.
Nice.
and a mainstream high school, and the conception of the kids and the students there of social media and Snapchat and TikTok and stuff, it's ridiculous. So at this one school I worked at, the girls rolled the skirts up, right?
Yeah, common.
And the reason being is that the boys would bully them, call them nuns and frigid if the skirts were low.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? What is that about?
Yeah.
It's young, though, as well, isn't it?
And it's 12, 13-year-old, and rolling the skirts up.
From the other point of view as well, like, there were some of the girls, like, that I would teach that being year 11, so the, 15, 16 at that age. I knew the 15, 16 because I was teaching them. If you saw them in the street, you'd be like, 20, 21?
Yeah.
And because they're deliberately dressing older, they're trying to be older, because it's seen as this, like,
that's what you've got
done
to do.
thing, and the world's gone mad.
They don't realise how many problems that breeds. So, being an ex-doorman, I used to see, thankfully, I worked on my own doorstep. I knew every single person that came through them doors. Do you know what I mean? And I knew I wasn't that doorman that would let you in underage. You know what I mean? Like, if I let a girl in who I knew was 16-year-old, but she looked, 18, she goes in there, cops off with a guy, that's statutory rape.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That guy didn't know.
No.
She's in a nightclub, he's going to assume she's of age.
Yeah.
Before you know it, poor bastard's locked up.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So with a case of narco where you don't know how many problems you could cause.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then by default, I would become a problem by knowing you, letting you in, and then that situation unfolding.
Yeah.
But I think they're in a rush to grow up.
Yeah,
It's
they
weird.
are.
It's like, and
it
it's
is.
I know it's the kind of old thing. It's like you don't realise that being a kid's like the best part of your life and all that kind of stuff. But you know, it's there shouldn't be in such a massive rush to grow up and want all these things. It's like, you know,
social media as well. It's kind of, well, the internet in a whole has sort of made the younger generation believe they don't have to get their hands dirty anymore. They don't have to work and graft, because for a girl now they can just go sell pictures of the bits on OnlyFans.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? That's hustling to them.
Yeah.
They don't have to go, you know, and you know, like fucking hell, you know, most mums, you know, they would have 2 jobs, you know, and struggle on their own. But no, not these days. It's a case of click, have that, here's a grand. You know what I mean?
A job on social media.
There were a girl in the last year when the year I left actually, and you know, talking to her, and obviously I won't say her name or anything, but I was just like, we'll call her Sarah. Like, Sarah, you got any, you know, plans for, you know, next year? What are you doing at college? And she was like explaining her plans and stuff like that, and she was like, oh, but I don't think I'll get in. So we had this long conversation. It's like, why don't you think you'll get in? And she was like, I just don't think I'll get the grades and whatever. So I just said, well, you know, what are you going to do if you don't get in then with that attitude? You know, what's the plan? And she looked at me and she went, I'm going to sell pictures of my feet on OnlyFans. But dead serious. She wasn't taking the piss. And I was just like, you are? And she went, yeah, I'll just sell pictures of my feet on OnlyFans. And I'm like, I need to exit this conversation now. But I was just like, it was so strange that was just like, that was the plan B. But like, don't worry, I've got it sorted. And it's like, oh, as long as you know what you're doing.
It's one of them. It's like, look, you know, I get it, because out of the two, out of selling pictures of yourself compared to standing on a street corner, you know what I mean? I know what the safer alternative is, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But at the same time, my issue with that kind of thing is that it's breeding a generation of people that will not ever know what it's like to struggle finding a job or holding a job down.
Just even having an interview.
Yeah, or having an interview.
Yeah.
You know,
do you know what I mean?
I used to brick myself when I interviews and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's CV on point. What's a CV? It's you can apply a job for. You know, and it's that misconception in it of.
And these these unrealistic expectations that kids have now, like, oh, I can just go and start a YouTube channel and I'm going to be famous making all this money.
Like, if you can get into that, fair dues.
That also breeds a lot of pressure, doesn't it?
Yeah.
My little lad's 8, and his dream job is to become a gamer.
Yeah.
And it's just that generational thing, isn't it?
And you know what? It sounds daft, but you can't even knock them down for that anymore because people are doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, look what we're doing now. Do you know what I mean? Like, look what we're doing. This is social media content. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So in a way, but what people don't see with all this is that we do physically do work
There's
as
a
well.
graft behind it.
You know what I mean? There is a lot of graft behind it.
Yeah.
Like you know, people see his videos and they see the following that we have, but they don't see the calls at 2:00 in the morning that we're getting from clients that are struggling because they're having a mental health crisis, or, you know, they're about to ring a dealer. We don't stop.
No.
So we are grafting. Do you know what I mean? And what people see of us is like maybe 2% of what we do. Yeah. But when I say, look, it's too easy now for kids to grow up thinking I'm just going to make money on the internet. Like, soon enough, there won't be a fucking army. We won't have firefighters. We won't have police officers because everybody's going to be an influencer. Do you know what I mean? So it's like,
it's true.
Come on, let's just get realistic here and just be like, live a bit, get out of your bedroom, go see World.
I had a paper round for £5.50 a week.
I bet you were dead proud of that.
£5.50 a week for 7 days. I was proud of you. I used to get up at 6.
That's what you pay, innit?
I used to get up at 6, right? And before school, I used to do it before school, and I used to hate Fridays because at Wakefield Express, biggest papers in the world, and Sundays because of all Sunday supplements.
Yeah.
They were heavy as all. In fact, it was split into 2 bags.
Yeah. Don't set them off.
Triggered. Well, that's what I mean. Like, we can have a laugh about that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
after this, we'll say, shall we go for a pint?
Shall we go to a pub? Do you know what I mean? We'll wait for your reaction.
Go
but
for a
we've let you
burger,
into
lads.
it now.
We'll go for a burger.
Yeah, we're going to get something to eat.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's you know, it's funny how everything comes together, isn't it?
Yeah. I think some of it on what you were on about before is a little bit of hating the game and not the player, because if you're like sat there thinking I can go where I might get shot and I have to get up at 4 a.m. and run 30 miles with all my gear on and my boots on, and I'll get 16 grand a year to start with. Or I can sit on my house at home and make some videos and get a lot more than
and it
that.
does make sense.
Yeah.
It does make sense why, you know, somebody would think that. Like now, I don't know, like all experience I've got with jobs, like, because I've had a handful of jobs that I fucking hated. Do you know what I mean? Like, for me, I've got to be passionate about something if I'm doing it. And I think I'm now, because I'm taking something that I had a personal experience with, you know, and I've come across somebody who has also had that experience, but has become a brother to me and a mentor to me. And it's like, right, we've both got the same passion for this mission. Let's run with it. Yeah. You know what I mean? If it were something else and it were a case of, right, we want to sell fucking, you know, fancy plates or something daft like that. I don't know why I said plates, but plates. You know what I mean? Then we'd probably have a shop somewhere or something. Yeah. But, you know, thankfully enough, we do generate quite a lot of custom from social media, which is a positive thing. But we're not solely reliant on that.
You win in twice, are you? If anything, it's almost like the perfect business, because it's like you making money from it and stuff like that and getting the attention, but also you're doing it for a good cause as well, like a genuinely good cause.
I think the thing as well with us is that we've been approached by everybody. Yeah. We've not really advertised. We've got some flyers and posters and we advertise what we do. But people are coming to us because they're seeing the videos, they're relating to them, they're in that same situation, and they're thinking, well, if these guys can do it, you know, we've got a meeting with NHS tomorrow.
Amazing.
You know, one of our guys were having a detox or something.
We're having a detox from alcohol, yeah.
And they said, "Oh, what's your plans on going out? Do you want to join the government funded?" I'm not going to say the name. No, I'm with Mean and Clean. What's that? Yeah, it's these two lads that have walked the walk, and the next thing, within an hour, NHS had emailed us, wanting a meeting with us. So.
Quickest the NHS have ever acted that.
He's still waiting for rehab bed.
I'm still waiting for rehab bed, but you know.
Yeah, but we'll meet some.
Just say that while I'm here.
While I'm here, could you just have a check? Yeah. Because I died 6 times before this meeting.
Yeah.
But yeah, I went on a phone call to them. Like, I think there were 30 of them in an office, and they had me on loudspeaker while I'm telling them what the programme is. Yeah. And they'd already checked us out on social media, hadn't they? Mm-hmm. Which to me, like, the NHS looking at our social media and finding what we do appealing baffles me.
It's crazy.
Because all I do is talk about people sticking lines up the nose. You know what I mean? Like sticking powder up your nose.
But it's real though, isn't it? That's the thing. Yeah. That's why it's so good. It's
but when you rip off the first layer of as you know, as footage and as videos, and you dig a bit deeper into what we do, then it all becomes apparent when you get on website and you read the testimonials that people we've helped. Then it becomes a bit more apparent.
That's the thing, though. It's relatable, isn't it? It's like, you know, if NHS giving you a little pamphlet when you open it, you know, overcoming addiction, it's like cocaine is a drug usually taken up the nose, and it's not really. You know,
I'd have used that leaflet. To snort a line. Honest to God.
But it's useless that. But what you guys do, obviously, I mean, evidently, isn't useless. You get people pestering you from as far ranging as Mexico or Castleford, you know, and all the places.
Even Vic's my partner, my wife, she'll bollock me for that. My wife, it's early days.
We'll cut that bit out again.
We were looking, because she's got the messenger as well, so we're looking, and I said, Marcus, have you replied to someone in their language? And they were like, no. So Vix has been going on Google Translate and replying to people from Mexico in their language.
Right. Because I noticed a message would come up and then there'd be like a 45-second delay and then a reply would come. And I'm like, she's just been on Google Translate. You know what I mean?
Mad.
The thing is, I bet it would be so funny as well if it's not quite... It comes out as
probably
like,
something
it never is it?
He's asking for help and she's offering him out for a fight or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me.
So, lads, what's the goal for Mean and Clean going forward? Have you got any immediate goals? Have you got any long-term goals? Or are you just playing it by ear?
The one that we're really passionate about is the Mean and Clean Wellness Centres.
Right.
Nice.
Like a hub, a centre where you've got cafe, sauna, cold shower.
Sauna, cold
Yeah.
shower.
You know, a
gym.
game room, a bit of a gym, and we'd eventually want one in every major city in UK.
Okay.
Were you starting Wakey then and hope to
Probably,
branch out?
yeah.
Cass.
I think it. I think,
Cass,
Cass,
Thailand.
Mexico.
yeah, whatever's on that demograph, yeah. But I
Cartel will
think
be after us.
I think literally we just want it to be somewhere that recovering addicts and active addicts can go
Safe space.
where they know they won't get judged. Do you know what I mean? So there'll be a gym in there.
Strictly no drugs and alcohol.
Yeah, strictly no drugs and alcohol. But they will go in there and know that every single person in there is either going through what they've gone through, you know, still going through it, being through it, or they're just getting out of it type thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, because when they go to a normal gym, they think, oh, people are looking at me. I did. When I first walked into the gym with you, I thought, fucking hell. Like Brookie who knows me. You know what I mean? Brookie knew me when I had a bit of size on me, and then I walked in that day and I looked like, you know, a science lab skeleton.
Yeah.
And it's like, I felt so
Uncomfortable
with that. But if I'd walked into somewhere where it were for addicts, I'd have been like, let's do it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the thing is as well, with our programme, if you join our programme and you get 6 months clean, we actually employ them to work for us.
Oh, I've seen that's meant.
nice.
And we will only employ addicts.
Yeah,
we only
yeah.
want addicts.
To do what we do, like talks and stuff, and do consultation calls and everything.
We don't want textbook learners. We don't want somebody that studied it. And you know, I'm not saying anything against people that have got a degree or like that, but when you're talking about something that, when you've studied a subject and you haven't lived it, don't talk to me about it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Especially addiction, because it's so passionate to me now. You know, don't sit there and tell me how to come off cocaine when you've never even looked at a bag of it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I don't think people can properly relate until, like, being honest, I can't, I know I can't relate because I'm not, I've got an addictive personality, but I've never, you know, done any drugs or anything like that. You know, it's not just because my mum might be watching, but I genuinely haven't. Just purely because I know that I would be hooked on it and whatever, so I've never done it. But because of that, I can't relate to you guys, like, in that way. And I don't think anyone can unless you've...
No, unless
you've got to
been
have,
through that.
You've got to have lived it, I think, and that's why I think we're a bit different.
Yeah, very different. I mean, you're muscly and I'm not so muscly. To be fair, I'm in best shape. I'm in best shape.
He
I've
looked
been
good,
in a
man.
long time.
Yeah.
Do you know
Do
what
you
I
think
mean?
he looks like Conor McGregor?
Does
The Cass version?
The cast version.
Conor McGregor looks a bit like you?
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, I actually met McGregor.
Did you?
I met him. Yeah, when me and my Mrs. D
Cried,
first got
didn't you?
together. Yeah, I did cry. And I think he only came over to check on me, make sure I was all right. But when me and my missus first got together, she bought me tickets. I'd seen he were doing a meet and greet in Manchester, and I showed my missus the event, the poster, and she was like, "Oh, it's too much," and she played it down, and I got fucking ump on because it was like my first birthday with her as a couple, and I thought you'd have gone all out for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Anyway, my birthday came. The event was on that date. She took me to Manchester. She tried playing it down, saying she got me a load of shitty Top Man vouchers. I was like, yeah, shut up, dickhead, just give me a ticket. Anyway, she give me it. I was like, Charlie and Chocolate Factory, like, I got a golden ticket. That would hit my face lit up. We got there, VIP. We stood and sat with all these Man United and Chelsea players. And they tried nicking me a bottle of vodka. So I picked the bottle of vodka up and I says, I don't give a fuck if you're first team under 18s, I'll put this over your fucking head. And then bodyguard walked out to do like his pre-security checks before McGregor comes out, and I says, I'll give you a can of Monster if you fetch him right to the front. There you got a deal.
Right.
Anyway, so McGregor comes out. As soon as I see him, he's my idol. And I'm like, you're real, you know, proper fanboy moment. And it sort of comes up, not because I've already agreed with this, you know, close protection officer that you're going to get him to me. I think he come over and looked and thought, fucking shit, is he all right? And he's come over, but for me, it was like, I've met my idol.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I've met my idol. And that for me, like, when me and her first got together, for her to do that for me were like huge.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It were on my bucket list, and, you know, and she helped achieve that. And it's weird because his wife's name's Dee.
Yeah.
My missus' name's Dee.
Yeah.
And I've got the same tattoo he's got on his stomach. I've got the tiger, but I've got my son's name, Diago Pereira.
Nice.
So
Quality, lads. Quality.
Awesome.
I feel like that's a super good insight into you both and what you do.
Thanks for having us.
yeah,
Where can everyone find you?
He's in
TikTok.
car, Simon working.
Mexico, maybe.
No
Usually-
cartel
usually in
or
the
drug
pub.
dealers.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're on TikTok.
TikTok.
What's it called on TikTok?
Mean and Clean.
Oh.
Yep. Mean and Clean on
I didn't know
TikTok.
whether there were an underscore or if it's in.
No. Mean and Clean.
Clean.
Mean and Clean pod on Instagram. And just Mean and Clean on Facebook. Then we have his YouTube channel as well, which is mean_clean_pod.
If anyone's still listening, drop them all a follow. Drop them a sub. Cheers for being on, lads.
No, thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
Thank you for having us.
Cheers, mate. Nice one. Love that.
Thank you, mate. Cheers, Tom.
I know, I am.